Hi, I'm Barry. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I promise you will not regret it. I have so many quality videos lined up for the near future. I promise you're not going to want to miss it. Without further ado, let's begin. Detroit versus Green Bay. The Lions started off with a David Montgomery touchdown run to go up 7-0, and then Christian Watson fumbled the ball like a doofus to give the ball back to the Lions, who responded with a field goal to go up 10-0 early. But Jordan, this love has taken control of me, handed the ball off to Josh Jacobs, tremendous driver, to make it 10-7. Jared Goff transformed into Jared Goff, once again leading the Lions to another touchdown drive, which ended in a touchdown catch. But then Jordan, I believe in a thing called love, found Christian Watson on a deep ball, and then a few plays later threw a touchdown to Tucker Kraft, white guy, to make it a 3-point game once again. But Goff responded right back with another interception of his own, and the Packers capitalized with Josh Jacobs' touchdown run to go up by 4 points early in the third quarter. Jahmyr Gibbs had shades of Barry Sanders on the field, getting the Lions once again close to the goal line, where they packed it in on another Jared Goff touchdown pass to retake the lead 24-21. I know Dan Campbell loves to gamble, but on 4th and 1 from his own 30, the Lions did not get it, which gave the Packers great field position early in the fourth quarter, which they punched in again with Josh Jacobs' third touchdown run of the game. What a tremendous driver he is. But it didn't last for long, as Jared Goff was moving around the pocket with ease, finding receivers downfield, and then finding guys in the end zone to retake the lead with 8:39 left, 31-28. Jordan, I want to know what love is, then led the Packers to a game-tying field goal drive to make it 31-31. No offense to the 2016 Warriors. Before the Lions got into field goal range as time expired and kicked the game-winning field goal to win 34-31. They've won 11 straight games. They're number one in the NFC. Please lose a game so my Eagles can take over. Thank you. Jacksonville versus Tennessee. This is the NFL at its best, folks. The Titans started the scoring with a 3-point field goal, but then Mac the Knife Jones said, "Not so fast, let me throw an interception here." The Titans responded by going 4 and out on the goal line when they could have kicked another field goal. That would come back in handy later. This play really didn't mean anything. I just thought it was funny to look at Mac Jones terribly throw another interception right before halftime. And that was unironically one of the most exciting plays of the game, because this was a terrible fucking game. The Titans went up 6-0 late in the third, then the Jaguars made it 6-3 early in the fourth, then Will Levis took a sack. Later on in the fourth, the Jaguars finally got onto the board with a touchdown run to take a 10-6 lead, but they left too much time for Will Levis to do nothing really, because Will Levis was unable to get the Titans any more points, but he did get them closer to the first overall pick and his possible replacement at quarterback, as the Jaguars held on to win this one 10-6, which is also P. Diddy's preferred age range. Nolans versus the Jersey Giants. Let's check in on the Giants quarterback situation. Yeah, it's still bad. The Saints tried a 53-yard field goal early on in the game, and it was no good. But the Saints did respond by scoring a rugby-style touchdown to take an early 7-0 lead. That might have been enough points for them to win the game, but the Giants would get on the board in the second quarter to make it 7-3. The Saints tried a fake punt, but it didn't work. Then the Saints tried a 60-yard field goal, which was blocked, which made it 7-3. Then Derek Carr threw a manly interception, and Derek Carr ended up getting hurt, and now he's out for the season probably, but who cares, because the Saints are probably eliminated from the playoffs anyway. But before he left, he threw another touchdown to put the Saints up 14-3 late in the third. But then Drew Lock said, "You know what? I'm Drew Lock, and I'm a mid-tier to below-average quarterback in the NFL. It's time for me to prove it," as he led the Giants to a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to make it 14-11 with 4 minutes left. The Giants got the ball back. Lock threw an interception, and then they got the ball back again with under a minute left, and Lock ran for a big gain to get the Giants into field goal range to set up a game-tying field goal, which would have sent the game into overtime, but the NFL thankfully stepped in and told the Giants to miss the field goal so people wouldn't have to be subjected to more of their bullshit, and the game ended in regulation. That is so funny. I love this. Sell the team, one giant mistake. The Giants are a stain on the NFL. They suck. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. You're not going to believe this, but the game began with the Steelers kicking a field goal, and then Jameis Winston had a nice touchdown pass to put the Browns up 7-3. And oh my god, maybe this is going to be an upset, and then no. Jameis threw a terrible pick early in the second quarter, which led to a touchdown for the Steelers. I know that's rare for Steelers fans to see in person. The Steelers added a 54-yard field goal from Chris Boswell, who might actually be their MVP, but he was certainly more valuable than whoever the fuck this Browns kicker was, Dustin Hopkins, whatever. He missed back-to-back field goals in the same game, keeping the score tied at 13-7 before the Steelers increased that to 20-7 on a Russell Wilson touchdown pass. The Browns tried to go for it on 4th and 1 midway through the third, and they got stuffed like a Thanksgiving turkey before the Steelers once again capitalized on it. Again, I must point out, people were saying that Russell Wilson shouldn't come back and start over Justin Fields. Yeah, great call, assholes. Anyway, back to the game. Jameis Winston threw a garbage time touchdown pass to David Njoku to make it 27-14 with 7 minutes left. Cordell Patterson, he's a Hall of Famer by what I've been told, fumbled the ball back to the Browns, but don't worry, bad Jameis showed up on this play and he threw an interception. But the game ended for good when Kadarius Toney, who definitely did not have a huge part in my Eagles losing Super Bowl 57, muffed a punt because he sucks ass, and it was recovered by the Steelers, and they ran out the clock to win the game 27-14. The Browns have not won a regular season game in Pittsburgh since 2003. The Miami Gay Sharks versus the Jets. Miami started the scoring with a touchdown, but they missed the extra point. Then the Jets came in and kicked a field goal, which was responded to with a field goal by Miami to make it 9-3. Aaron Rodgers had one of his best games of the season, and he finally broke 300 passing yards for the first time since 2021. But despite this, the Jets were in a tightly contested game, trailing 15-13 at halftime. But coming out of the half, Rodgers continued to throw the ball well, finding Devontae Adams for a touchdown to make it 20-15 Jets. Then the Jets added a field goal to make it an 8-point game going into the fourth quarter. Surely they could hang on to this, right? Well, wrong. The Dolphins then marched right down for a touchdown when 2023 Father of the Year Tyreek Hill scored to make it 23-21. Then the Dolphins went for two, and they got it on Jalen Waddle's catch to make it 23-23. But the Jets, after a couple punts by both teams, responded with Rodgers making some clutch throws down the field to get the Jets into field goal range, which they made the kick to go up by 3 with 50 seconds left. But the Jets defense let the rest of the team down as the Dolphins kicked a 52-yarder to tie the game and send it into overtime, where the Jets never saw the ball, and the Dolphins scored on a great throw from Tua to Jonnu Smith to win the game 32-26. This is the fifth blown lead in the fourth quarter that the Jets have had this season. Tampa Bay versus Las Vegas. The Buccaneers struck first on a Baker touchdown pass, and you know what? Vegas just sat there and took it like a $5 whore as the Buccaneers went up 14-0 late in the first quarter. But the Raiders got life when Baker threw an interception, and then, well, no, I guess not, because the Raiders fumbled the ball right back. As you remember, they had famous snap problems at the end of the game versus Kansas City, but then Baker Mayfield gave it right back with a fumble of his own, so a lot of weird and wacky turnovers there, which eventually led to the Raiders cutting the game to 14-7 on a touchdown run, and then 14-10 on a field goal, which ended up being the halftime score after Baker threw a terrible end zone interception. After a long drive, which consumed much of the third quarter, Aiden O'Connell threw a terrible interception in the red zone. Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans then played pitch and catch, which resulted in another touchdown for the Buccaneers to go up by 11. The Raiders responded with a field goal to make it an 8-point game, and then Baker channeled Tom Brady for a screen pass touchdown to go up by 15 with 2 minutes left, which sealed the game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won the Super Bowl. No, I'm kidding, but this was a Super Bowl matchup, remember? Super Bowl 37, still the largest Super Bowl victory the Buccaneers have ever had. Shout out to Brad Johnson. Philadelphia versus the Kitties. The Kitty Cats started things off with a field goal, but that's not going to cut it versus the Eagles, as Jalen Hurts scored on another ass blast to make it 7-3. Bryce Young had a decent game by his standards, throwing a touchdown to go up 10-7, but then the old Bryce Young showed up and he threw an interception just before halftime, which set up the Eagles with another touchdown from Jalen Hurts to Devonta Smith. Jake Elliott's struggles from the field have continued, which allowed the Panthers to take a 16-14 lead going into the fourth quarter, but not before Jalen Hurts had a super long run to get the Eagles into the red zone, which he capitalized on with yet another touchdown pass and a 2-point conversion by Saquon to go up by 6, 22-16, with 9 minutes left in the fourth. From that point on, it was all about the Eagles defense holding up, and they did, but Young made a game out of it on the last drive, finding a couple players downfield for some nice completions. The play of the game is obviously this dropped wide open touchdown pass by Leggett, but hey, it sucks to suck, which led to a 4th and 9 desperation throw by Young, which was incomplete, which led to the Eagles win their 9th consecutive win to move to 11-2. Again, we're winning the Super Bowl. The only team that concerns me are Detroit and Kansas City, and unfortunately, in order to win the Super Bowl, those are probably two teams that we're going to have to face. But I'm up for the challenge because I'm a hero. The Ospreys versus the Cardinals. The game began with Kyler Murray going downfield for a touchdown. Oh wow, but that lead did not last very long, as Murray then threw an interception, which led to a touchdown to put the Seahawks up by 3. Murray then threw an interception to Kobe Bryant. This is why Kobe's better than LeBron, folks, which led to another touchdown for Seattle to put them up by 10. Then the Cardinals kicked a field goal to make it 17-10. A lot of action in this one before late in the second quarter the Seahawks broke off a long touchdown run to go up by 14, and then they kicked a field goal to go up by 17 late in the third, and despite the Cardinals' best efforts with a touchdown and 2-point conversion, they were unable to come back. Down by 9, they missed a field goal with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks made a field goal to make it a 12-point game with 2 minutes left, and Kyler Murray once again failed to produce a win after the month of October. Never put your faith in post-October Kyler Murray. Just don't do it. The stats are there. You'll be a lot happier if you just listen to me. San Francisco versus the Bears. The game began with Brock Purdy dropping dimes for a touchdown and then dropping more dimes and more dimes for a touchdown as the 49ers went up 14-0 on a touchdown run. Oh, look, more 49ers highlights. That means that this game was an ass-kicking, which it was. The 49ers went up 24-0 before the Bears even got on the scoreboard midway through the third quarter. So basically everything the Bears did and all of Caleb Williams' good stats were garbage time stats, which is not good, but hey, he's a rookie, so whatever. The 49ers went up 31-6 after another touchdown run. Caleb Williams tiptoed the white line before throwing another touchdown pass to make it 31-13. The 49ers, though, were not content with the final score and decided to run it up even more with another touchdown run to make it 38-13. Look at Brock Purdy with his dirt face. Derpy derp derp derp. Minnesota versus the Falcons. The Kirk Cousins revenge game started out pretty well for Kirk as the Falcons went up 7-0, and then the Vikings scored a touchdown to make it 7-7, and then Kirk threw an interception, which isn't very good, and then Sam Darnold, who had 5 touchdown passes on the day, threw another touchdown to go up 14-7, and then Kirk Cousins threw a dime, which led to a Younghoe Koo field goal to make it 14-10. The Vikings tried to kick a field goal to go up 17-10, but it was no good, and then Younghoe Koo said, "This is how you kick the field goal." Listen, I grew up watching South Park, so I don't give a fuck what you think about me doing that Asian accent. Anyway, back to the game. The Vikings just continued to score more and more, but the Falcons did too for a time, and going into the fourth quarter, the game was tied at 21, and it looked like the Falcons might have an upset, but it was just not meant to be, as their defense was worse than Swiss cheese, and it smelled worse than dog shit too. Darnold would throw his 5th touchdown of the day to put the Vikings up 35-21. Then Kirk Cousins threw an interception, which led to another Vikings touchdown to put them up 42-21, which ended up being the final score. Kirk Cousins' team is back under 500. The world is right again. The Rams versus the Bills. There were a lot of fireworks in this one. The Rams started with a touchdown run. Then Josh Allen threw a couple balls downfield, which ended with a Josh Allen touchdown run to tie it at 7. Then the Rams kicked a field goal to go up 10-7. Then the Bills got their punt blocked and returned for a touchdown for LA to go up by 10. Josh Allen was not done. Josh Allen then threw a laser downfield, which resulted in a touchdown pass. What a tremendous performance. Unironically, probably the catch of the year here by Puka Nacua. Just an unbelievable athletic play, which led to another touchdown by Puka Nacua to go up by 10 for the Rams. The Rams then extended that lead after a nice throw from Stafford to Kupp to 17 on a touchdown run midway through the third, but the Bills would not go down easily, unlike Nancy Reagan. Allen once again had an amazing throw downfield, which was basically a bunch of yak for a touchdown, make it 31-21, but the Rams again just continued to move the ball down the field all day, and this resulted in another touchdown pass from Stafford to Cooper Kupp to make it 38-21 Rams going into the fourth, when Allen then had a great throw which set up another touchdown run by Josh Allen to make it a 10-point game. Bills got the ball back. Josh Allen showed off his sneaky athleticism, which then led to another Bills touchdown on a pass, which was a great throw by Allen to make it 38-35 with 4 minutes left, and then Stafford led the Rams down the field once again all day long. Really, the Bills defense had no stopping him, which led to another Puka Nacua touchdown on a super amazing throw downfield. The extra point was no good, but it didn't fucking matter because the Bills went right down and scored on another touchdown run by Allen. He had 6 total touchdowns on the day, and only one of them was impressive. But either way, the onside kick failed for the Bills and ended up losing 44-42. Yes, losing a game where you score 42 points has to be immensely disappointing. Kansas City versus the Chargers. Now it's time for the Chiefs to do their weekly "How can we piss people off by barely winning?" Although the first half looked like they might win by a lot as they went into halftime with a 13-0 lead, but the second half they did what they usually do, which is allow the opponent back into the game while their offense did nothing, and the Chargers scored 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing and 1 throwing, to go into the fourth quarter down 14-13, but the kicker, not named Bucker, made a field goal to give the Chiefs a 2-point lead, but the Chargers responded right back with a field goal to give themselves a 1-point lead with 4:36 left, and every single person in the fucking stadium and watching on television knew exactly how the game was going to end by that point. Mahomes would make a couple throws and then maybe a couple runs, and he would start trying with all of his voodoo magic shit, and of course that's what happened. But the final kick of the game was a doink, but it was a good doink as it doinked off the crossbar to go in to give the Chiefs a 19-17 win to improve them to 12-1. They just continued to win close game after close game, and nobody believes in them. In fact, I don't think anybody thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl again this year. Cincinnati versus Dallas. Let's all laugh at Dallas, shall we?